Hello, Zoe here, and today I want to talk about conservative pastors who posture themselves as speaking boldly about politics. And their idea of speaking boldly about politics is saying that both sides are rotten. This only makes them part of the problem because they're only making things more blurry when the political arena is in serious need of clarity. I reckon before this video is over, there's gonna be some pastors cursing in tongues at me.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
To the Christian community, being sold out to God is where it's at with us. But the Christian community sold out in another way that's come back to bite them in the butt. The Christian community allowed LBJ Johnson to shackle the church to the 501c3 section of the tax code, which basically prohibits churches from endorsing a candidate or a party, because if they do, they could stand to lose their tax-exempt status. And I'll remind y'all that LBJ Johnson, and the B stands for butthole, was the Democrat president who said, "I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Yet many of you pastors try to say both the parties are rotten. Okay, well, just like LBJ Johnson had an evil plan for the black community that still affects them today, LBJ Johnson had a plan for the church too, and y'all fell for it. I ask again, what has the Republican Party done that is worse than what the Democrats have done? The Democrats fought to institutionalize slavery and racism in general. They founded the KKK. They're the party of abortion, redefinition of marriage, eugenics, and state suppression of the church. What have Republicans done that is worse than this? How do you see the parties as the same? I hear Christian pastors politely expressing their dismay about us running a Mormon for president on the Republican ticket. And then they have the nerve to scoff that the Republican Party claims to be the party of God. Let me start by saying that, given the choice between Romney and Obama, I'd rather vote for Romney. But if pastors are going to complain about Romney, the Mormon, being president, then you need to be ready to share a good chunk of the blame. Because not only did you sell out and accept 501c3, you've been trying to avoid being seen for that failure by getting people to focus on the failures of the parties. And you do that by saying that both the parties are rotten. You offer up the parties as a scapegoat while positioning yourselves as blameless for what you allowed to happen when it was the church pastors who sold out in the first place and made a deal with the devil thinking they would benefit from 501c3 and ended up being trapped by it and don't seem to be doing much to fight back. Just like the black community thought that they would benefit from the Great Society. And I'll remind you again that these are the plans of the Democrat Party. And I'll ask you again, how are the Republicans and Democrats the same? It sure would be nice if these pastors would stop using that both parties are rotten as an applause line and start telling people the truth about what the party platforms are founded on. Or are you afraid that the ghost of Democrat Lyndon Boogeyman Butthole Johnson coming back from the dead to take away your tax-exempt status? Y'all, LBJ implemented that to keep the church from telling people about the Democrat Party. Hello? You also sell out to your congregation, thinking you'll be seen as above the fray and that you're enlightened because you have no favor and will judge fairly, chastising both sides, which makes you a sad case just like those wishy-washy liberal types who are always leading with moral equivalency. Nice work, guys. Let me tell you what you actually did. Now, I've already told you in another video that the very platform of the Democrat Party is not only to remove the 10 Commandments, but to violate them. I don't see how the Republican platform comes anywhere near as being as bad as that. Now, bear in mind, I'm talking about the platforms, not the people who represent the platforms. People are always gonna do something to disappoint you to different degrees. Your kids will disappoint you, your parents will disappoint you, your teachers, your favorite football, basketball, or baseball team, and yes, even your pastors. Sometimes people in the Republican Party are gonna disappoint you too, but they're gonna disappoint you a lot more if you don't get them to stick to the platform the party was founded on. And these pastors are a big part of the reason why the Republican Party is losing its roots in its Judeo-Christian foundation, because these pastors are leading people to not stake their claim in it. And then they turn around and have the nerve to act like they're dismayed because we're running a Mormon. And before you secularists start talking about separation of church and state, you've taken that phrase totally out of context and you've interpreted it totally backwards. The words separation of church and state are not in the Constitution, and the Constitution for damn sure doesn't say anything about a separation of faith and vote. Anyway, then the pastors say no matter who's elected, God's hand is in it, God's in control, and it doesn't matter who's in office. Yes, God is in control, But as I said before, we have skin in the game. I don't want to meet my maker and say, hey, God, I kept my eyes on you the whole time, but I just ignored your instructions to put my faith to work. Note to you pastors and Christians in general, the spiritual war manifests in the cultural and political arena. Just something to think about. To continue. Now, God, I knew that you were in control the whole time, so I didn't concern myself with elected representatives who understood that it was their job to protect our God-given rights. I just let the whole world go to hell in a fecal bucket because it doesn't matter who's in office. You're in control. God's gonna be like, yeah, well, thanks. I didn't make the world for you to let it go to hell. Yeah, I'm in control, but you do have free will, you know that, right? And with that free will, you have free elections. And when people follow my instructions, they'll continue to be able to have free elections in a free country. But if you're just standing in the church and not applying my word to your vote, people stand to lose a free country and will lose the freedom to tell more people about me. I mean, it's not like people have never been able to talk about me, you know? Gee, that's never happened before. It's not like it's happening now, no. Yeah, my word still gets around, but why in the fruit juice do you make it harder for yourselves to get my word out there? I'm Alfonso Rachel with Zone Nation, and I'm sure the church you attend has a great pastor. I attend churches that have great pastors too, but I'm sure you have a pastor that fits what I'm talking about, and I'm sure it has bothered you too. If so, I hope you share this video with them. There's gonna be some pastors cursing in tongues at me.